Smart people, dare to be different.
Can you tell us the most striking memory that you can just grab when you're a minister or an MP and what you are missing?
Well, I don't think that there's any single event that I can point at and say, this is what I miss or this was my most significant moment. It will spread over a variety of things. As an MP, it was going back home, interacting with my people, and trying to fulfill some of the things that we worked on together. I'm happy now that today in the Bole Bamboy constituency, we have been able to cover a lot of the towns under the rural electrification program. But it wasn't easy when I was an MP. In the year that I became MP, I noticed that our towns had not been captured under the SHEP program. We were not there at all. So surveys had not been done of the communities or anything. And the SHEP program was rolling out. And so the constituency north of us was having communities being hooked on, and our constituency was dark. Aside from Bole and Kakiasi, 2 towns, they were the only ones that were captured. And we had big communities like Mandari, Bamboy. Bamboy has been an old traditional stop on the northwestern route. It wasn't electrified. I fought to have it electrified through my time as minister. But at the time, the
Minister of Communications. Yes.
At the time, the funding for SHEP was short. And so it was difficult. Then I got elected as an opposition MP because our party lost. And of course, when you are not in government, I mean, the government is not too keen to do things, in your constituency. Yeah. So I fought for 8 years and it didn't happen. Anytime there were elections coming, the government will come and put poles in my constituency and bring wires and all that. And then once I win again for 4 years, nothing happens. It happened in 2004, it happened in 2008. And then fortunately I became vice president. So I just made sure that we rolled it out. So for the years that Bole, Bamboy, the Bole district didn't have, electrification, we've been able to hook a lot of the communities onto the grid, and they're enjoying power now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
With the ministerial, at the time we had a Ministry of Communications, which combined information and communications.
Yes.
And so we dealt with the media as the government public relations arm, and then we also dealt with the telecom sector. And so it was a combination of the two. I think that ministry cut my teeth as a politician because it was a new and growing area in telecoms, ICT, and all that. And to have been in that industry and been associated with some of the growth that has taken place there, I think is the most fulfilling dream that I have. The father of telecom liberalization.
Yes, I was coming to ask you.
Yeah, okay. It's Honorable Edward Salia, and God bless his soul. He was the one who led the process. He got a lot of flack. I remember the first time he came to Parliament to announce the liberalization program that was going to divide the post. You remember the post and telecommunication? Yes. A lot of Ghanaians don't remember we had PNT.
PNT. I remember vividly.
If you ask any of my children about PNT, they won't know that there was ever PNT.
Yes.
Today, they take internet connectivity for granted. They have Wi-Fi. They just have to open their laptop and go on, and they are connected to the World Wide Web. It wasn't like that before. Before, you had to make a phone call. You had to go to High Street.
Post office.
And go to the post office, book the call. And they'll tell you the call will come between Monday and Tuesday. So it means between Monday and Tuesday, you have to stay at home and wait for the call to come from overseas. They were going to connect you, foreign call, And Salia, people like Edward Salia had a vision, God bless his soul. And they started the process. When he kick-started the process, we came and inherited it. Spio Gabra was the minister who took over after Salia, and then I took over from Spio Gabra. And so that whole process, we superintended the liberalization of the telecom sector. And of course, after we left office, the NPP came, and all the ministers of communications who followed continued to supervise it until we've reached where we've reached. We look back with a sense of pride that today I mean, you can sit anywhere, and I mean, Ghanaians are taking to technology like DAX to water. You know, children are on the net, and I mean, you can make a phone call anywhere. You can call somebody in Iceland right now. I mean, we could take our phone, and if we wanted to talk to somebody, we could call somebody in Iceland. We could do video conference. We could do a lot of things that before we couldn't do. And so I take pride in the period that I served in that sector and what it has contributed to what we're seeing today.
So not any striking memory?
I can't pick on one single thing. I can just...
The first day you were appointed as a minister, I mean, how did you feel? That should be something...
I was lost.
So that's what I expected to tell me.
At the time I was appointed, my minister, who was appointed with me, was ambassador in US. That was Spielgabra. And he had to take time to wind up before coming to take office.
Okay.
And so I was asked to go and report to Mr. Kofi Totobi Kwachi, who was the outgoing Minister of Information, who had now been appointed Minister of National Security. And so I drove my car and I parked, shut the door, and I said, "Is this happening?" I got down, walked up, and I was ushered into the minister's office, and Kofi Totobi was there. He was very helpful. I mean, he gave me an orientation of the ministry and indicated what he thought I would be doing and all that, but said, "Look, your minister is going to come. I'm just holding the fort, but I'm also preparing my handing over because I have to move to the Ministry of National Security." So
that's about it.
Yeah, I spent about 3 weeks or a month with Totobi supervising that ministry until Spio arrived. And then Totobi fully left for... Yeah, so, I mean, the early days, you had to settle, get to know the staff and all that, and then do rounds to get to know the agencies under the ministry and all that. So we went to Ghana Telecom. At the time, it had changed from PNT to Ghana Telecom. So we had Ghana Telecom and we had Ghana Post.
Today is Voda.
Today is
Vodafone.
And we still have Ghana Post.
Yes.
And then we had the space phones of the time, which are now MTN. And then we had the Mobitels at the time, which is now Tigo.
I remember they used to be as big as Puna.
And then we had the Celtels of the time, which is now Kasapa. You know.
No, it's not more Kasapa. Expresso. You are lost.
I guess I'm becoming a bit...
An old man.
Yeah, Expresso. And then you have the Westel, which became Zain. And then now it's Airtel. So I think that the telecom sector and our development in ICT has grown by leaps and bounds, which is a good thing. And I think that going forward with the prospects that this country has,
it's important.
I think that ICT will continue to drive, you know, a lot of the things. One of the things I admire is the services sector, especially the financial institutions. They are using ICT like no man's business. I mean, before, if you wrote a check in Accra and you paid it to somebody in Tamale, it took 21 days to clear. Today, if you pay a check, I mean, it's like instant. It takes seconds, you know. And it's all thanks to ICT. The banks are networked. You can pay money into an account and the person can draw it immediately in the next 30 minutes. You know, so we're doing well.